Dog Soldiers is a 2002 horror movie directed by Neil Marshall. A group of British soldiers on a training exercise in the Scottish wilderness end up fighting for their lives as they become targeted by a pack of hungry werewolves. But before we get into this canine carnage, I just want to ask if you could please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out, so thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your platypus flavoured popcorn and put on your favourite screaming vest as we dive into Dog Soldiers. So the movie begins with a couple having a nice week camping trip in the woods in Scotland, which rumour has it is where Scottish people come from. So the fella's lady hands him a present and says,
"No knight should be without his sword."
And he's like, "That's the tiniest bloody sword I've ever seen, man. I mean, it's nice and that, but don't you think it's more of a letter opener?" Later that night, and they're about to get down to some steamy tent loving, when the zipper on the tent starts getting pulled up. I don't know about you, but I'd be going absolutely bat-knackers mental in that situation. I'd start screaming and flailing and rolling around wildly and shit. Why, you ask? Well, if I was about to die, I'd like to go out doing what I do best. Never know, I might get lucky and they might think, bloody hell, he's weird. I think we should probably leave him alone. So yeah, the lady gets pulled out of the tent and blood splashes on the fella, before whatever it is presumably kills him too. That's a good intro, Dog Soldiers. I like it. We then meet our protagonist, Cooper, playing a jolly old game of Evade the Bastards, one of which he distracts with a tactical roll which would never work in real life. Then he fights off his assailants until he gets a knock on the noggin, and is held at gunpoint by Liam Cunningham. So apparently this was some sort of dead good squad training exercise, in which Cooper actually did dead good. But Liam Cunningbacon has one final test for him, and tells him to shoot this poor defenceless doggo. Cooper isn't a twat, so he tells Liam to get fucked. So he tells Cooper that he's getting the boot, and then shoots the dog himself, putting him right at number 1 on my shit list. A few weeks later and Cooper is out to do another training exercise in the Scottish wilderness, but this time with his old squad, the notable ones of which are Boney Joe, who as his name suggests is obsessed with football, Looney Spoon, the gobby one, and the squad leader, the one and only, the pertest of Shawns, Sarge, who tells them that this exercise is against the Special Forces team that Cooper tried out for, so they better make them look like a bunch of weak-ass babies, or Sarge will kick them in the Cocoa Pops. So they set off through the woods and have a nice whistle while they're at it, but sneaky old Liam Cunningham is watching them from a hidey hole saying,
"Contact camp.
Tell them my right leg is wet as fuck." When night falls, the troops start a campfire and start to talk about what scares each of them.
I want to know what scares a Sarge."
Piss off, man. Nothing scares a Sarge.
Apart from werewolves, he positively cannot stand the fuckers. So Sarge starts to tell the team a lovely story about his mate who got exploded by a landmine, right before...
Fucking cow!
Is everyone alright? Is everyone okay?
I'm trapped under a cow. I'm not okay. I feel an udder on my leg.
We then see Liam Cunningpork being stalked and attacked by something in the woods. And I've got to say that the way they do werewolf vision in this film is amazing. Everything is so bright even at night. Although, if they only see in black and white, then why doesn't everyone just take off all their clothes and dip themselves head to toe in blue paint? That'd work well good, I reckon. The next day, the squad continue their trek until Sarge finds a nice old bit of ground meat to chew on. But before he can, they see a distress flare in the sky, so they follow it and find the Special Forces camp covered in various bits from the butchers, until they find a very distressed and injured Liam Cunningchop behind some boxes, who keeps saying,
There was only supposed to be one. There was only supposed to be one.
Poor bugger. Looks like he's watched the Matrix sequels too. So things are looking a bit bone, as Boney Joe would say, so they decide to get the hell out of Dodge. But they need to hike through a hell of a lot of forest to do so, and it isn't long before those pesky neighbourhood werewolves start chasing them, with this one guy being singled out from the group, and oh no! He's been stabbed by a werewolf! Oh no, he hasn't, he's run himself through on a big branch. Well, he would have to. Meanwhile, Sarge actually does get attacked by a werewolf, and ends up in a bit of a state. Cooper turns up and is all like, "Bloody hell, Sarge, where'd you get all them sausages?" Then he does a good impression of me working at a McDonald's drive-thru.
You can take your orders and shove them up your arse.
So the squad make a mad dash through the woods, holding back the beasties with a hail of gunfire. Elsewhere, this car is driving along peacefully, with the driver thinking, "Say, you know what would really ruin my day? If a man fell onto the road in front of the car right now." Ah! So they all hop into the car and take off, leaving the werewolves behind. The lady who rescued them, Megan, no, not that one, takes them to her friend's farmhouse where they can get some R&R. And while it looks like a lovely house and that, who the hell goes out and leaves the hob on? That's just mental. While having a look around to secure the premises, Cooper finds a doggo, and a lovely one at that. And I tell you, if anything happens to that dog, I'm done. I'm out. Shake it all about. Do the hokey cokey, etc. So they all pile inside and get situated at the kitchen table for a bit of grub. Then Cooper asks,
Miss, where is the nearest phone?
50 miles as the crow flies.
and he's like, "Do I look like a bloody crow? How far in actual distance, you muppet? So she tells him that the nearest town is about a 4-hour drive away, but Cooper decides that they're better off going straight away than waiting for something bad to happen here. So him and Spoon walk outside to check the coast is clear, and Cooper's like, "Oh no man, they've buggered the car! It's only been 5 minutes since we got here." Well, job's a bad un, and oh my god, there's a load of werewolves staring at us. So they run back inside and Cooper shoots the car to ignite the fuel, and boom, the car goes up in a big ball of flames. So the beasties start breaking through the door and everyone tries to hold them back. And hilariously, the house dog goes straight for Sarge's bandages to give him a good yank while everyone's distracted. Oh, it's such a thing a dog would do, innit? Eventually they drive back the beasties and the dog gets tired of playing with Sarge's guts, so things settle down a bit. While keeping a lookout, Falk tells Boney Joe that this situation reminds him of the Battle of Rorke's Drift in 1879, where 100 British soldiers fought against 10,000 Zulu warriors. The only reason I mention this bit is because my dad has watched the film Zulu twice now in the last week, which shouldn't annoy me, but it does. I mean, what the hell does he think he's doing? Anyway, they decide to move Sarge upstairs to the bedroom so he can be more comfortable while they pop his guts back in and superglue him shut. Man, superglue's amazing stuff, isn't it? I was going to superglue some scorpions and a rattlesnake to a frisbee to create the ultimate throwing weapon, but I didn't get very far because the plan was stupid. Also, I think Sarge just checked my browser history.
Oh, yeah! Dirty fucker!
Cooper then knocks him out so they can fix him up more easily. And while he's out, Coop has a good crack with Megan about their furry assailants.
You can't seriously believe in werewolves.
Whoa, hold up. Let's just rewind a few minutes, shall we? What's that there, Cooper? Eh? 'Cause it ain't a fucking hamster. Downstairs they're doing a weapons check, and 'cause they're running low on ammo, they have to find some other weapons too. So they find an axe, a sword, and a frying pan to use. And to be honest, I'd probably take the frying pan.
Frying pans! Who knew, right?
It ain't long before the sneaky werewolves go all aliens and knock out the power to the house.
They cut the power.
What do you mean they cut the power? How could they cut the power, man? They're animals!
So we get another round of intense house defense as the beasties attack from all sides, and our heroes hold them back with their dwindling supply of ammo and grenades. Boney Joe has a close call as he's grabbed from behind and blindly fires his shotgun, accidentally destroying a couple of bottles of whiskey in the process. Of all the bloody things you could accidentally shoot, why the booze? But Cooper saves him because he's not meant to die yet. Then he hears the buggers breaking in upstairs, and we get one of the best looks at the werewolves yet. Man, these werewolf designs are top tier. Sergeant Cooper shoot the beastie in the bedroom and it gets pulled backwards out the window on a wire, which looks a bit daft, but nah, sod it. Then that soldier downstairs, who I can't remember the name of, gets taken by one of the mangy mutts because he assumed that the blinds would protect him. Oh, and Megan cuts her hand on some glass with werewolf blood on it. But I'm sure nothing will come of that. Shit ain't looking good at this point, so they decide they've got to find a way out of here. Megan mentions that there should be an old Jeep in the shed, which they can take if they manage to hotwire it. Problem is, they'll probably get killed before they get to it, so they get Knife to be a distraction because he's the fastest, and also has the biggest gob. And while they're chasing him, Boney Joe makes a run for the shed. He finds the Jeep and hops in, but when he turns on the light, he's greeted by a werewolf chomping down on his mate who got pinched before. It bites his head off and scops it at the car, with the head saying, "Help me, Joe, I'm feeling a bit lightheaded." Boney Joe manages to get the car outside, but then he realises the worst. One of the beasties is in the back seat. "You're behind me, aren't you?" "Yeah." "And you're gonna eat me, aren't you?" "Yeah, I am, yeah." So the others run downstairs and out to the car, but when they open the door, oh no, Boney Joe! He's been fucked up from head to toe! So once again they retreat back inside and they're proper feeling down on their luck by this point. So Megan plays them a familiar tune on the piano. Does anybody else hear that music and immediately think of The Evil Within? Ah, man, I fucking love that game! So Cooper thinks it's about time they get some answers out of Liam Cunningloin. So he says, "Tell us what's really going on, you big shit, or I'm gonna shove a deep-fried Mars bar up your nose." So he agrees, and tells them that they were hired by the military's Special Weapons Division to find and capture a werewolf. But there was only supposed to be one, so they got overwhelmed and, well, we've all seen the rest. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention Sarge is feeling a lot better now. So him and Cooper give Liam a good roughing up for being a twat, before he goes all manky on them. "Looks like somebody needs a manicure." Snip, snip. He emerges from behind the table, now a full-on werewolf, and starts laying the smackdown on everyone. Cooper manages to stick him with the sword though, right before he dives out of a window to escape. It's at this point that Cooper finally puts it together that the werewolves are actually the family whose house they're in right now. Megan tells everyone that the werewolves are most likely using the barn outside as their den, so the new plan is to blow it up and take the doggy dickheads down for good. Before they kick things off, Cooper has a chat with Sarge, who is feeling unnaturally sprightly considering his earlier bout of disembowelment, and says,
Let me show you something.
And Cooper's all like, "For Christ's sake, I don't want to see your knob again, Sarge." But Sarge shows him that his wounds have healed, so before long he'll be turning furry too. But like the trooper he is, he tells Coop that when the time comes, he'll do the right thing. So they pop a hole in the fuel tank on the Jeep and Cooper drives it into the barn, diving out at the last second, before Sarge lights the fuel trail with a Molotov cocktail like a boss. Then the barn goes kablamo, and it's bye-bye beasties, right? I'm afraid not, because it turns out Megan's wound from earlier got her infected, and she's sided with the werewolves. And not only were there none in the barn when it blew, but the cheeky shitters just let all the buggers into the house. Sarge is well pissed off about this, so he shoots Megan in the head. Then him and Cooper run upstairs. Ladle tries to follow them, but he gets cut off and ends up barricading himself in the kitchen. Upstairs, and after some hallway shooting, Cooper and Sarge get separated, with Sarge ending up trapped in the bog and using the trusty combo of aerosol can and lighter to keep the wolves at bay, while Cooper's stuck in a separate bathroom thinking, "Shit! This bathroom is filthy, and I don't have time to clean it!" Downstairs, and Teaspoon starts fighting a werewolf hand to hand, which is pretty damn funny, especially when he starts throwing plates and shit at it, with the werewolf thinking, "No man, don't throw them, they're collector's pieces! Oh no, not the big plate, me nan gave us that!" But unfortunately for Tablespoon, he's quickly overwhelmed, but he does give us a great final line.
"I hope I give you the shits, you fucking wimp."
Back upstairs, and Cooper breaks his way through the drywall into the bog with Sarge, but he's having so much fun wrecking walls and that he keeps going into the bedroom next door. With nowhere left to go, they hide in the wardrobe, and they shoot out the floor so they can drop down into the kitchen below. So in a heroic last stand, Sarge gives Cooper his handgun with one shot left, and makes Cooper and the doggo go down into the cellar, while Sarge goes out with a bang. He breaks the gas pipe on the cooker, and waits for the beasties to all walk into the room before hitting the igniter on the stove. "Oh, hello there. I'd like to sell my house, please."
Okay. Please can you tell me what condition the house is in?
"Well, needs a little work inside, but I think it's a..." Never mind. Cooper and the doggo survive the explosion, and surely it's all over now, right? Because Cooper realises that the cellar has been where the sneaky bastards have been hiding all along, and not only that, but werewolf Liam Cunning Sausage is down there with him. He gives Cooper a good old bash around before trying to impale him with the sword that he's impaled with. But good old doggo saves him by distracting the beast, and Cooper ends up finding the tiny silver sword from the beginning of the movie, so he stabs it in the chest, which gives him time to find the gun Sarge gave him. Then he says,
I think it's all over.
It is cow.
So Cooper and the doggo walk outside into the early morning light. The house is fucked, the cars are fucked, Cooper's absolutely knackered, and the dog probably doesn't care one bit about anything that's just happened. End of movie. Oh man, Dog Soldiers is an absolute blast. It's easily one of the most fun and entertaining werewolf movies out there, with great action, lots of blood and gore, superb werewolf effects, and a solid cast with an exceptionally good performance from Sean Pertwee. As far as werewolf movies go, Dog Soldiers is an all-timer. So, Dog Soldiers, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you loathe it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you could please like and subscribe to my channel, it would make me very happy. But above all else, thanks for watching. Snip, snip.